Several churches are stepping up to help survivors of Hurricane Florence. They're bursting with donations as they come in at one Newport News church, and that's why city leaders come in. They'll provide a big truck to deliver the donations to North Carolina this weekend. Reporter Nico Clemens has the story.
Lending a helping hand.
We just want to make sure we take care of those in need.
Several churches coming together to help those just hours away.
It just shows the love that people really care about other people.
It's been 2 weeks since Florence pounded the Carolinas, and the need for supplies is still growing. Pastor Willard Maxwell in New Beach Grove Baptist Church in Newport News are sending off an 18-wheeler Saturday morning with everything you can imagine. Water, food, baby supplies. And it's not just New Beach Grove. They're teamed alongside the Tidewater Peninsula Baptist Association, which is comprised of 50 churches in the Hampton Roads area.
All of our churches kind of pull together.
Maxwell says they're sending a first truck to a church in North Carolina. They plan to send another truck in about a week. Maxwell says they wanted to send money, but the people there said many of the shelves were empty and money would do them no good.
For people to turn down money means they're really hurting because they said nothing is on the shelves.
The city is also getting involved, providing the truck to take the supplies down to North Carolina. City leaders provided transportation to New Beach Grove before, when Pastor Maxwell and his congregation sent more than 160,000 pounds of water to Flint, Michigan.
Jesus, he did most of his ministry outside of the church walls. So I believe we're supposed to always go to the highways and byways, making sure that we take care of people who are less fortunate.
Helping those in need, no matter where they are. In Newport News, Nico Clemens, 13 News Now.